There.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
We are recording.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Jobcast. We got this document up.
Yeah, I got the document up. This is
Yeah,
gonna be
we
the
got it.
opposite, guys. There's no plan. We got words on a paper, and we're just gonna talk.
Yeah.
So, last time we recorded was like half a year ago, like 5 months or something.
When did we
Was it
record
5?
that?
Has it really been 5 months?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was February. Wow, that's crazy.
Last time we were here, Ranni and I had just started, or Ranni had just started part 3 of JoJo, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And now we've fully watched everything
Yeah.
in the anime.
Yep. We've watched
And
every
now-
part
yeah.
together.
And now, like Reizo and I are in. Reizo's read part 7, and I'm just starting to read part 7, which is
I have
Steel
not read
Ball
any
Run.
of part 7.
So
Mhm.
in a way, like Malcolm was the one that introduced us to JoJo, but we're in a way like ahead of him now because
Yeah, I hate you.
it's
Real
very
question
strange.
is, will it ever be animated?
I hate you.
Will Steel Ball Run ever be animated? Alright, what's something interesting to talk about? We got the thingy here.
I mean,
Well, since we're on the topic
first
of
question
JoJo,
is like, which JoJo part is the best part,
which is 4. The answer is 4.
It's 4. 4 is the best one.
and why is that?
It has the best cast. Come
Yeah.
on, you get like 3 JoJos in it.
Yeah, it's got the best cast. It has my favorite, like, I don't know, just the progression of like the plot is like my favorite. You know what I mean? Like just the way they
Mhm.
like solve the mystery of who the villain is. Kira is such a cool villain. I love him a lot.
Yeah. He's one of the best anime villains I've seen. And the way that I see when you were talking about like the plot progression, I really haven't seen many things turn like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like something that starts slice of life and ends up being murder mystery.
yeah. It's crazy,
Pretty much.
right? It's just so
crazy.
like it takes the time to introduce you to the world slowly, and then it just hits you with all this like really dark stuff.
How do you feel about the first scene for part 4?
Like the
Where it
very
already
beginning.
shows Kira with like the hands.
As you know, I'm a man of blues, and I never leave.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. It's just a really like a cool like subtle way to introduce intrigue like immediately.
Is it subtle?
I mean, it's a good way to introduce intrigue immediately, like to show that something is wrong immediately already. But
Yeah, that's fair.
and then they just completely ignore it for like 10 or like 15 episodes,
20 episodes.
something like that. It's wild. They just move on.
I do like how in this part there is like that introduction. You get to know the world and the cast of characters, and you form a connection with them. But I remember like Moist Critical Charlie. He says, I think if I recall, like part 4 is his least favorite part because he just found it boring.
Part 4, it's my least favorite genre of all slice of life. It was like all slice of life until Kira, and then it was
Right.
good.
Yeah.
So it finishes strong, and I hated everything before it.
Which
Yeah,
I
he
can
doesn't-
understand the sentiment because it is like it is kind of drag on a bit, like towards like I guess a little bit in the early middle, and then
I
once
wouldn't
the
say
murder
that,
mystery,
but-
once the murder mystery starts, like oh okay, it starts amping up, the pacing gets a bit quicker. But
It's
I
really just if you like slice of life, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Charlie
Yeah.
just said that he doesn't like slice of life, and that's why he didn't enjoy it.
That's
Okay.
completely understandable.
yeah, I guess if you're not a big fan of slice of life, then it would be kind of
Joe
boring.
Rogan.
But I enjoy part 4. It is I guess it is my favorite part out of the entire animated series.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I mean, I just find Kira to be such an interesting villain. I haven't really encountered like a fictional villain like Kira. He's just fascinating to me.
Yeah, he's so subtle and like hidden. It's cool because every villain in JoJo up to that point has always been really like bombastic and in your face and wants everybody to know how strong they are. But Kira is the total opposite. Like he wants to stay hidden and for nobody to see him.
Yeah. It is very interesting, not gonna lie. And it's kind of crazy that the best part comes after like what's kind of the most iconic Dragon Ball Z
Yeah,
high
yeah,
stakes part, you know?
yeah.
Somehow
Araki-
they lowered the stakes and it still hit harder.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like it was really smart of Araki to lower the scale so much for after that. Because how do you like increase the scale after Dio?
Yeah.
You make it more personal. That's how he did it.
Yeah.
What I really like about Kira is how like opposite he is compared to Josuke, who's the main hero.
Yeah, they're
I'm
total
assuming
opposites.
the people listening have some background knowledge of JoJo. Otherwise, it might just go over their heads. But it's just like it's interesting that the villain of the story doesn't move the action. It's the hero. Like the villain wants to just be left alone. Like that's the main thing. It's the hero that forces this conflict between the two. You know, I rarely see that. Like it's
Which is
just
pretty
like
opposite, yeah.
yeah, like usually from if I remember correctly, most of the villains I see like, oh, they're out to kill people for fun and stuff. They have a plot, they have a plan in mind. Well, with Kira, it's like if you just get in the way of what he wants to do in life, then that's when he'll engage in
He'll kill you.
trying to murder somebody. But other than that, it's like if you don't bother him, he won't bother you. That's the main thing. But Josuke, like, he's a fighter, dude. He like seeks justice, and he will actively try to find the bad guy and
Yeah.
Yeah.
beat him. You know.
Josuke's power is all about construction, and Kira's is all about destruction.
Yeah. It's really cool how all JoJo villains, they have like this kind of duality thing going on across all the parts pretty much.
Yeah.
I even saw one with like part 5 where it's like with Giorno, it's removal of effect pretty much because he can change the future or something.
Yeah, kinda. And with Diavolo, it's removal of cause.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because Diavolo can
Too hard
erase
to wrap
time
my
and
mind
just
around.
leave the results of action. Which is an insane power, by the way.
Wait, what isn't it Diavolo like? I forgot his power. Like, isn't it like he can skip time or whatever? Or
Yeah,
what was
kinda.
it?
He like erases a bit of time, but whatever happens in it still happens, so you're just left with the result.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like a lag spike in real life or something.
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
basically,
okay, yeah.
And he can see the future, so he can act in that time that he's erasing.
Amazing.
So it's really broken.
That's fair. That's fair, but at least it has a short range of time, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But still, it's crazy.
Still,
It's
yeah.
it's interesting. Like Araki, he just really examines like the concept of time and how it plays out in these stories and these characters. He just finds it to be such like a unique power. I mean, if you could control time, you're pretty
You're pretty good,
like,
dog.
pretty good. You're pretty beefed up. You like, how do I be a
Yeah.
guy that can manipulate time?
It's
But
always
also,
time, too.
it's time and it's the idea of like determinism. He's a
like
pretty
fate. Yeah.
yeah. He's
Mhm.
like kind of a. I mean, I would say he is a fatalist. He is a determinist. He doesn't really
Mhm.
believe in the concept of free will, and that's a theme that's prevalent in throughout all the JoJos, but especially in part 6 and part
Part
5. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. He really dives into it in parts 5 and 6, like heavily.
Which I find ironic because you know, he seems like it seems like Araki's just like this kid at heart. He just likes to have fun, and that's very evident in the stories and characters he makes. But we kind of associate determinism with such a depressing worldview that like it's just some sad, depressed guy. And maybe there's a bit of that in Araki, but I don't know. I feel like his determinism is actually positive because he believes that in the end, like goodness will prevail and evil will lose. I think that's the kind of determinism
Mhm.
he aligns himself with.
I mean, that's what, what's the kid's name in part 6?
Oh, Emporio.
Yeah, that's what he told Father Pucci right at the end, right? It's like fate did make a choice and made the choice for you to lose or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's really
Yeah.
like a hopeful view on the world.
Yeah, which is cool.
Now, do you guys agree with that? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade. I don't know.
Do I agree with what?
Do you agree with Araki's concept of free will and determinism and how that plays out in
See, the thing is,
real
I
life?
think he does believe in free will. I think he definitely believes in it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
because
just
it's
don't know
all
how much he thinks it's gonna impact things in the end, but you definitely have a choice.
Yeah, it's
Thin
it's interesting because you see, it is the thing is about the determinism is that it's always the villains who believe in it, and
Yeah.
the heroes always overcome this deterministic viewpoint in order to win. Like the heroes don't really say like I'm fated to win this battle. They just say I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
because that's what I want to do or whatever, you know. Like they never go on and on about how they're fated to save the world or that it's their destiny to do this and that. They just do it because
they're
they want
mostly
to.
paragons.
But I want to offer a rebuttal. You can correct me. Wasn't it Emporio who said to Father Pucci, like, "Oh, you overlooked this one thing. You were predestined to lose, and that we will win." I'm paraphrasing here, but that's basically
I
what
do
he
think
said.
I would agree with that.
I agree,
I
but
do
he's
think
like
Emporio's
one.
a
He's
bit-
like one example.
But this was the kid that was like the key to unlocking this new world where his friends are saved, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so it's not like he's unimportant. He's one of the most
No, of course
important
not.
JoJo characters.
Of course
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
So
I don't know how I knew it. Like when I saw him, I'm like, this boy, he's gonna make it to the end.
Something about him.
Yeah. And you're like, you think so? I said yes. He's gonna make it.
yeah, I like Emporio. He's cool.
Yeah,
Good
he's
kid.
he's
Yeah,
so
I knew.
cool.
Do you think Giorno has like a deterministic outlook? Because Giorno's really fascinating character.
Giorno is tricky because his final power is like both.
It's making his free will, like writing it into fate. So
Oh,
Yeah,
that's his
that's- so
final
that's
power,
like-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his requiem stand.
Yeah. I
'Cause
just been a
it's-
while.
the most
weird.
busted one.
Because it's like, yeah, he's like writing his free will into fate, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but then again, that's kind of just like it's like a miniature, or it's a macro scale of Heaven's Gate or whatever it's called, Rohan's
Oh, Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door. Yeah,
Yeah, Heaven's Door. That's another interesting one because
that
you
one
can
does impact fate. You know?
yeah, kinda. It's more yeah. I agree. Giorno's Requiem stand is very confusing at first glance because you're not sure exactly like what it's doing.
Mhm.
But I think the way Giorno phrases it in that final arc is like because Diavolo's always about like reaching a fate that has already been determined, right? So
Yeah.
the Giorno words it like that fate does exist, but you will never reach it.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, that's interesting.
so which is why he traps them in a loop of infinite death, which is insane, by the way.
It's horrible.
It's like a.
It's pretty much
purgatory.
like Corp-
What about like with Bucciarati, and he literally goes against a villain that has the power to basically seal your fate, and it's presented in this rock that has your
Talking about Rolling
face on-
Stones.
You're talking
Yeah,
about Rolling
like-
Stones.
Yeah, Rolling Stones. Like your face is literally etched into this rock, and it seals your fate that you will die or something like that. Is that correct? Am I remembering correctly?
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, and he tried to go against this guy, but in the end, Bucciarati does die, and
Yeah.
the
in the end, you see
rock-
the faces of everybody who dies in part
Yeah.
5 in the squad.
Yeah.
and
I
the
actually
Rock.
really like that arc, to be honest.
Yeah, lots of people don't like it because the placement of it is really awkward. Like it's right at the height of the conflict. So lots of people think it's like a pace breaker and it lasts like way too long.
It does
Yeah,
drag a
yeah.
little long, but like I don't know. I think it is like the proper thematic end to the
Yeah.
story he's trying to tell.
I agree.
Yeah,
part
and
five.
it's. I wish they could have handled that piece better, because if you guys don't remember, don't know, like this scene with Bucciarati encountering his fate, it's a flashback, basically. And
Yeah, it happens
by
before
the-
anything else in part 5.
Yeah, and at this point of the story, like we're basically at the end of the story, and it's just this random flashback that I guess adds context to the entirety of part 5.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
like
would've been-
thematic context.
Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
better if they added it earlier or sprinkled bits of it throughout the story so it doesn't seem so jarring. But
It's
it was a cool addition nonetheless.
it's weird though because yeah, I mean I guess they could have sprinkled it throughout, but it's I don't know. I think the placing of it isn't the worst. It does go on a little long, but I don't know. It's just really cool to see this like final mini twist on the deterministic angle right at
Yeah.
the end.
You know what's interesting? I heard like part 5 for the longest time. It actually before it was like animated. It was actually not that popular in the West.
No, people didn't really like it, and I think that has a lot to do with the confusion around Diavolo's ability. King
Yeah,
Crimson.
and it had pretty bad translations too. I heard. But part 5 is really popular in Japan.
Yeah,
It's one of the
it's
most
really
popular
good. I
ones.
love part 5.
Yeah, it has the best fights for sure. Bucciarati is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
He's
Oh yeah,
freaking awesome.
Bucciarati's like
He's the goat.
man.
he's so cool.
I like him more than Giorno in part 5. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Bucciarati like he just has his ish together. He reminds me of like
Yeah.
Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja, Turtles.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
that dude's a man.
I remember when I said, "Who's this lady?" And Malcolm's like, "Oh, that's a man."
dude.
How do you feel about that beginning though? When he licks his sweat, he's like,
Let's see, it's like the sweat of a liar.
Hey man,
It creates an impression, that's for sure.
totally
I kind
straight.
of think
Straight.
that fight on the train with Beach Boy and Grateful Dead, it might be my favorite fight. The more I think about it,
Yeah, it's really
As of
really
now.
cool.
yeah, it's really
Oh yeah,
really
on
good.
the train, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beach
freaking
Boy,
cool.
Beach Boy is such a horrific stand too.
Yeah,
And
You
Grateful
wouldn't
Dead,
expect
they're both really horrifying.
just put an ice cube on your ass and you're good.
Yeah, I mean, but most people wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
So wait, Beach Boy is the one where like he throws the fishing rod
Yeah.
and it like
Yeah.
connects to your
And it like
skin
he
or
hooks
whatever.
inside of you, and then he like moves up to your brain and like destroys your
you
brain.
can just freely navigate a hook
Yeah.
anywhere through any surface,
And it can it can
infinite
go
length.
and it can go through any solid like it's a liquid.
And Grateful Dead, he can like control like it like makes everyone old, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
it
the thing?
ages
Yeah.
people really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like this gas that turns people.
Yeah, I had some goofy stand comparisons for you guys to think about.
Okay,
I have Heaven's Door versus Gold Experience Requiem. Both
Gold-
control
Gold-
fate.
Gold Experience Requiem wins.
Yeah. But
Like,
what
that's
if he
not-
writes Gold Experience Requiem loses?
Yeah, he'd have to touch him first, and I don't think that
Oh
would
yeah,
happen.
yeah. That's the caveat. Like
I got Boy to Man versus White Snake. They're pretty much the same.
Which one is?
Wait,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to remember White Snake. Let me see.
White Snake was Poochie's.
White Snake was Poochie, the one that pulls out the discs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he just
yeah.
takes stands away. But Boy to
Yeah.
Man does it if you win rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, so
3
no,
times.
I think White Snake wins that too.
But what if Boy to Man wins? Well, what
Well-
would happen if he got White Snake? Well, I guess he'd just be able
would
to do
just-
it quicker, right?
Yeah, he would just have a better version of his stand.
Yeah. I got Whole Horse versus Sex Pistols.
That's an interesting one, actually. It's
I think Whole Horse is actually better, to be
yeah,
honest.
because Whole Horse
but-
can actually control his bullets
Yeah,
like, freely, but they don't move as fast as real bullets.
What was the guy's name? Guido Mista?
Guido Mista, yeah.
Did you think he was going to be the one to live, Ranni?
I
He
think,
got so close to dying so many
like
times.
so many times. I just thought I think it's over, but maybe I forget. It's been a while since I've finished
Yeah, that's the
part
thing. It's
5.
just been so long.
But
Mista.
I think there's a
is-
point like they keep trying to kill him off. I guess he'll live by the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if I
I'm
thought that
happy.
too.
I love
He
Mista.
got to live.
He's probably my favorite, right behind Bucciarati.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
all so cool, though. I like
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, I really love the whole squad.
Except Fugo.
Man,
Like
come on.
Panagotta. Fucking
Fugo.
purple
Purple
virus,
smoke,
man.
purple smoke, purple haze. I forget
Yeah.
which one is the real name.
Yeah, I don't like his outfit.
Oh yeah, his outfit is goofy. It's so dumb. Yeah, I'm gonna wear an overcoat with no undershirt, and it's got holes all over it,
Yeah. And I'm still wearing a tie.
and I'm still wearing a tie.
I mean, he's a handsome lad, but that outfit does not work, dude.
No, yeah, I don't agree with it.
Have you seen the JoJo Part 5 suits that they released?
No, I
I
haven't.
think
yeah,
they made
yeah.
some with like Gucci or something.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Oh my god! Wow, those are swag actually.
They're fancy, dude.
Yeah, those are nice.
And they have actually nice lining.
Line.
They have nice inner lining. I'm also of the opinion that Part 4 is probably Araki's favorite.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's based on his hometown, too.
Based on it, and it feels the most to JoJo, to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just like the quintessential like JoJo experience. It has 3 JoJos in it.
Come on. What would happen if Jotaro was in Part 5 fighting Diavolo? I wonder how his stand would interact with it.
It would just depend on who activates their ability first.
Yeah, but also they kind of weaken Jotaro. It's the story
Yeah.
going on. It's just for practical reasons.
Yeah, like he would just insta win everything if he.
yeah.
It must be the rain.
Oh yeah, it must be the rain. You know what he's talking about?
No.
No, in Part 4, when Jotaro's fight or Josuke's fighting Kira, and they hear
Oh, yeah.
explosions.
And it must
Oh,
be
so-
thunder.
Yeah, it's just the rain, I guess.
雨の音がジョースケの声に聞こえたと思っただけだ。
Gosh, that's so bad. That was bad.
It's okay because Jotaro is at his best in Part 4. I love Part 4 Jotaro.
Yeah.
And I think in the
Struggling
animated
against
series,
rats.
in the animated series, Jotaro is still my favorite JoJo character.
He's cool.
Yeah. And then second is probably Bucciarati. He just got his ish together, man. He's so cool. I love how, like, I don't know. I think he's one of the best leaders I've seen in anime.
Yeah.
Gujarati. Yeah, he's got everything figured out. Bro's like it's 17 or something, by the way.
Yeah, 17, 18. Like, he has, like, I don't know. Like, he to me personifies what a leader should be, you know? Like, like everything I look for in a leader, the traits, like, Araki was able to impute those traits into Bucciarati.
Yeah.
He's also kind of based on Michael Corleone, which is cool.
Michael, not Vito.
Yeah, he's the son, right? The one that I don't know if I want to spoil it, but in his backstory, it reminds me of it.
Wait, dude, we've been spoiling everything in JoJo, dude.
No, I'm talking about The Godfather.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Michael Corleone's the son of Vito Corleone. We can say that.
Yeah,
That's not a spoiler.
and then what he does, you know.
Yeah.
I have not seen The
Yeah.
Godfather.
So we will stop.
It insists upon itself.
Oh, yeah, you remember that, Malcolm?
I love that scene so much.
I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Couldn't get into it.
Explain yourself. What didn't you like about
It
it?
insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even
mean?
It's been like forever going in, and then like you get to the part where it's like I haven't even seen the ending.
What are your thoughts on part 6 overall, as it's basically the ending for this era of JoJo stories, you know?
Part 6 has a really strong beginning and end.
I completely agree. I feel like the beginning of part 6 is like the best opening for any JoJo. I'm like, oh, this is a really strong
kinda
beginning.
agree.
And then
Yeah.
towards the middle, it just kind of
kinda
overstays
drags
its
on,
welcome. Yeah, it's
and
like...
It drags
just
on
becomes
and
boring,
introduces
yeah.
a bunch of stand powers that are like kind of confusing.
Dragon's Dream is like one of the most notorious arcs.
Mm-hmm.
People hate that one.
That's the one with the feng shui, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that one dragged on. You know, like
Or got
typical
lost in the
JoJo, you
plot.
fight a villain. There's so much exposition.
However, I think the just the straight up brawl she has with that like officer is so cool.
Yeah. I like that was cool. Weather Report's cool.
Yeah.
Most of the characters are pretty cool.
Yeah, Anasui. I really like Anasui. He's kind of a
Foo
creep,
Fighters
but
kinda
I like
weird.
him.
Foo Fighters kind of weird.
Foo Fighters, but they're based though. I like them.
Yeah.
They're,
Kiss was cool.
Plankton. What?
Yeah,
Kiss?
Plankton.
Oh yeah, Kiss.
That's a really cool stand. By the
Adamus.
way.
Yeah, Kiss, the duplicating stuff, that's so cool. I love that stand. And I like it because there's like a risk to it. Like if you duplicate something, if you want to like bring them back together, it's going to damage it. So there's like a risk to doing it.
It's a pretty rough stand, honestly, to figure out how to use. But it's cool.
She's really clever with it. Like when she was drowning and she just like made herself a second nose so she could breathe.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It's so
I
cool.
forgot about that. Also, how about that Weather Report backstory?
Yeah, gosh, that's so messed up.
Gosh, yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know why. That was not needed.
I think part 6 in particular, Araki was just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall when it came to stand powers and seeing what stuck. And a lot of it stuck, but some of it in the middle was just like, okay.
Facts, bro.
There was that one stand though that was really subtle. That was the one where that just like makes you an uncontrollable like angry beast just by the slightest hint of anger.
Wait.
Yeah.
Say that again. Sorry.
It's in the dragon arc. You know, the stand that is just in the water, and then if you get angry while it's touching you, it'll like zap your brain and make you like an uncontrollable angry beast. You remember how in that arc the officer and like Jolene could like see their like strongest points and their muscles were like sparkling.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I don't remember it.
Bruh.
It was like it was in the prison.
Yeah. This was in like the maximum security.
because
prison.
everyone was like it was like an all-out brawl basically,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel about Jolene as a hero, as a character?
She's cool.
Yeah, I love Jolene. She's really cool. I
She's
really
really-
like how she, like, as the story progresses, she learns to accept this responsibility she has as a JoJo. To accept, it's another, like, deterministic thing, like, to accept her fate as someone who has to fight against the Brando curse, the Dio Brando curse.
But it makes that ending hit even harder. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
she's free from the curse.
She's free from the curse,
It,
yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, Irene.
Irene.
As a refresher, part 6, by the end of it, it's basically a soft reboot of the entire JoJo universe. So
Right, yes.
like stories are kind of have changed up a bit, characters have changed up a bit, and one major story is that Jolene, the hero, by the end she's like goes by a different name, so it's still her, but it's like a different, I guess, version of her, a different alternate future that came
Yeah,
true where
The main thing in the new timeline is that the main villain of part 6 never existed, so she was free from the curse of having to fight somebody who was part of the Dio Brando side of things, because that person doesn't exist anymore. Poochie.
and that gives way to, I guess, again, I haven't read part 7 or part 8, but that gives way to for Araki to expand on the JoJo verse, and he's not as bound to the previous universe before the reboot. Like he
I
can,
mean, very
He's still
curious.
written some things in the previous universe though, especially like a new chapter of like The Spoke.
Thus spoke
Kishibe.
Rohan, Kishibe,
Yeah,
Rohan,
Rohan.
yeah. Which
Yeah.
we should get together and watch that OVA.
Yeah.
oh,
It takes place in
yeah.
the OG timeline.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Isn't it set in like Paris and the Louvre and stuff?
There's two.
It takes no, there's 4. It takes place.
Four.
Takes place like all over the world, basically.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
okay.
cool. He's not his favorite though.
No, Rohan's not Araki's favorite though. He drew a picture of the two of them hugging, but he's not his favorite.
I
Yeah,
promise you.
yeah, and he said like Rohan's has his favorite power, so it's not his favorite, you know.
Yeah.
Thus spoke Rohan Kishibe is really cool though. I really enjoyed it. It's very different from like your standard JoJo. I mean, it's stylistically the same, but it's not. There's very key differences that I think make it a unique experience.
Question, Malcolm.
Huh?
When do you think you'll read part 7?
I'm waiting to see if they announce an anime soon.
Mhm.
If I think my thing is right now is like if they announce the anime this year, then I'll just wait for that. But if they don't, then I'll go ahead and read part 7.
Gosh, I love parts.
My guess is it's probably gonna be like 2026, and I'll
Yeah.
be 30 then. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
based on like the previous like release like timeline, right around now this year is when the next part would be announced.
Sadly, you know, the creator recently passed though.
You mean
Or the director.
the
the director
producer.
of the anime? Yeah, the producer,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, that's sad.
That's probably gonna set it back a bit, so
Yeah, it's true.
we'll see.
Hey, I'd rather wait and have a good product, especially
Yeah,
for
that batch release.
for
I
for
wish
people who
they
don't
did
know,
that
like
for part 6.
yeah, like for people who don't know, they split up part 6 into 2 separate release dates, which really
3 separate
three.
releases.
Okay, 3. Yeah. So basically, they jumbled up the release dates, and it killed the momentum that the show was
Yeah. So-
garnering.
In like fall of like 2021, I think, or maybe it was 2022, I forget. They released the first 12 episodes all at once. And then a year later, they released the next 12 all at once. So like all the hype had died.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year after that, they released like the last batch of episodes. And it's like, wow, good job. You ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now, my
was
personal
pretty bad.
headcanon tinfoil conspiracy theory for this is that they wanted to do a very clever meta narrative where just like the in-universe gets reset, the outside of universe audience gets reset too by losing
yeah,
the
that's-
audience.
That's totally it. Mhm.
Yeah. So it was actually genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. With part 7, like people regard it, not only JoJo fans, but just people who are fans.
It's the
of
number 2
manga.
highest ranked
Yeah, it's
manga.
like people consider it like among the best manga ever created for its story and its art. So I wouldn't mind waiting and them just releasing a polished product
course.
rather than rushing it. You know?
I'm gonna just say it'll be really hard.
Yeah, it'll be
Not
really
gonna lie.
difficult. There's a lot of JoJo's already crazy, but even then, as I'm reading through the manga, I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but like there's just characters in the world where it's like, I just think logistically it'd be difficult to animate well, and
Yeah.
it's just
Facts.
I don't know, but I know they could do it. It'll just take a lot of planning and time.
The final arc of part 6 is insane.
Yeah.
with
Oh yeah.
with,
That was wild.
Made in Heaven is one of the most insane stands ever.
It's one of my favorite stands. It's so scary.
That's
yeah.
the resetting time, right?
That's the accelerating time to the point that the universe resets.
Versus
yeah.
resets, yeah. So it's like, okay, like going back with that
Oh yeah, the
terminus thing.
yeah.
It's like this. I wonder if Araki believes like it never ends. I wonder if he believes like, oh, we're just gonna get to a point in the universe where it just restarts and everything will keep following this cycle. You know?
Yeah,
His idea of heaven is crazy.
Yeah, the idea, Poochie's idea of heaven is that everybody knows their fate, and therefore, and when they accept it, that's when they achieve like true contentness and happiness, and that's heaven.
Oh yeah.
This
Man,
Buddhist AF. No.
it's also kind of Nietzschean in a way, like this eternal
Oh
recurrence.
yeah,
thing.
amor fati.
Yeah, I love of fate, like
Yeah.
this love of like I know what's gonna happen to me and I accept it fully. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Very
Deep stuff.
interesting.
Deep stuff in an anime that's very, very, very silly.
Yeah, that's the great thing about JoJo, man, is that it's so goofy, but at the same time, it's really deep.
Yeah, and I don't
It's
know how
interesting.
much of it is like planned versus like Araki's like, oh, this is fun, this interests me, and then it just so happens to be very deep. You know?
Bro's just vibing.
Yeah, he goes by vibes. Which
I think there is certain things where just like Araki thought something was cool, and then he just moved on from it afterwards.
Oh, that I'm sure 100%.
All the
That happens
time,
all
dude.
the time.
Like you can even see it just with like Giorno's powers. Like in the beginning of part 5, he has that power where if he hits somebody, their soul gets separated from their body, right?
Yeah.
And then you never see it again.
Yeah. Pretty weird.
Araki forgot. That's the
Yeah, that's
meme.
the joke.
Yeah. Actually, real question: how much do you guys like part 2?
Oh, I love
A lot
part
of
2.
people. A lot of people, it's their favorite.
Part 2.
For
I
me,
like-
it's like higher in the middle, but
Yeah, high middle.
It's like high
That's what
middle.
I'd say.
Yeah.
but I do like it a lot.
Yeah,
Dude, especially that ending.
part 2 is great.
It's just crazy.
But most of I think the majority of the joy that comes from part 2 is just from Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah, he's just so silly.
I don't know. It's really good. They got Stroheim in it too.
That's true. Yeah, Joseph, Stroheim, and the Pillarmen are what carry part 2.
And the settings are really cool.
Yeah,
too.
it's true. Yeah,
fun.
it is really cool. And I really like how it expands on Hamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also not that long.
No,
Yeah.
So it's not unlike part 3. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, part 3
Sure
is
No, I
love
love
part
part 3.
part 3 is too long for its own good, bro.
Part 3 is too long, and it's objectively there are faults with it, but I love it because it's what solidified JoJo as like a totem like in culture because there's just so many
Yeah.
memes
Yeah.
have spawned from this one season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 3
It's
is
true.
part 3 is the JoJo part. It's the one that everybody knows.
Facts. I kind of want to change the name for now of the podcast
Oh, okay. To
Really?
what?
to the Jobcast.
The Jobcast?
Oh,
Yeah,
just for this
Jobcast.
Oh,
episode
the
or general?
Jobcast. Okay.
Just for now, honestly. For a couple episodes.
The JoJo. Why do you think we're going to be talking about JoJo for in every
Probably
episode?
every episode. Not gonna lie, for a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, sure. I'm cool.
I have a corpse party
Oh, you want to
next.
corpse
yeah, we
party?
can talk about Corpse Party. I put that
Oh,
there. I
gosh.
want to talk about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, we can talk about
so-
corpse party.
Because of Malcolm's suggestion, I started playing Corpse Party. I reached chapter 2, and that's where I'm at right now.
Corpse Party is one of my favorite games ever. And that might be like a Stockholm Syndrome thing because this game traumatized me as a kid. But it's, if you don't know, it's like a RPG Maker-esque horror game that was like, it was originally made in like the 90s, and then over time it just got like remade a bunch of times until it got put on the PSP, which is the version that most people know. And then a couple years ago, it got remade for, well, it was on the 3DS first, and then they made it again for Steam and modern platforms. And just recently, they announced a new Corpse Party game, a sequel, Corpse Party 2, which I'm very excited about, and I hope they don't blow it like they've blown everything else they've made after the first game.
So, for the people who don't know, like, explain the premise of Corpse Party. Corpse
So-
Party, can I say it?
Basically a group of students get trapped in a haunted elementary school. That's like the most basic plot premise I can give. and they're trying to find a way out of there. And what's cool about it is there's a few like unique things about the school that make it horrifying. First of all, when you die in the school, you don't go to like the afterlife or anything. Your spirit stays in the school forever, and you also feel the pain that you felt at the moment of death forever.
Isn't that great? Love it.
It's insane.
Leave it to the Japanese to make something like that.
Yeah.
Some dreadful horror. Yeah.
And the second thing is that the school it's like its own like contained multiverse basically. And there are like multiple parallel versions of the school laid on top of each other. And so if two people end up in the school together, they may never see each other, even if they go in like the same room. Like they'll never even find each other ever.
It's interesting, not gonna lie, but
yeah, it's
pretty
really
dreadful.
yeah, it's really dreadful, and it creates this really interesting like gameplay aspect to it, where like in each chapter you're in a different version of the school, so it's like it's familiar but unfamiliar, and you're like re-exploring it again.
Yeah.
Is it
I
like
guess I don't have too much to say about it right now.
Yeah,
just
you're really
because,
early on, so it's fine, but
Yeah.
it's like the gameplay style? It's like a visual novel, but also like an RPG, right?
yeah. I mean, the RPG elements are very, very light. Like, there's no battle system or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember because I watched, I think completely. I watched the first the first game, a full playthrough of it back in like high school. Even I think I watched Dashy Games play through it. It was either Dashy Games or Rad Brad. I remember really liking it because it's like a TV show. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
spooky.
does a really good job of building like intrigue and suspense and dread.
Yeah.
So
Feel good game, guys.
So question, like, because you've explained before that you're not a big fan of horror games.
No, I don't like horror.
Yeah, but what makes Corpse Party different, considering it is a horror game?
Well, a lot of it is nostalgia, I think, because I watched it as a kid and it traumatized me, like I said, and I had many, many sleep. It took me months to watch a playthrough of it.
Damn.
And I had many sleepless nights. But I just kept coming back to it, and I just really love the story of it. Like, it's so interesting, which I won't get into the details of, but it's just, there's a lot of just really cool plot elements and story moments, which I can't get into, but just trust me, they're really cool. And I just love the lore of it. At its core, it's very simple. It's not like overly complicated, which the later games do not follow with. And
Core, like the story simple, or
yeah, like in the sequel game, Corpse Party Blood Drive, they like just keep adding and adding to the lore, like stacking things upon other things, and just like adding all this like witchcraft stuff, and it's like, oh my god, we have completely lost the plot. And,
who's your favorite character?
Yoshiki, easily.
The blonde kid?
Yeah, the blonde guy. He's the goat, man.
He's cool.
Yeah,
he's cool.
Is he a Chad? He looks like a Chad.
Absolutely.
He's kind of a Chad.
He's my favorite, but I really like the whole cast. They're really enjoyable to just go on this horrifying experience with.
Malcolm's actually been watching me play it.
Yes, I have been, and it's been fun and painful.
What's been painful, Malcolm?
This man does not know how to find things.
Navigate. Yeah. Navigate.
I watched him pass by the exact thing he needs to look at like 5 times in a row, and I'm just like, oh my god. But
Sorry, liberal.
I'm someone that doesn't. I really hate backseat gaming, so I'm staying silent. But I'm just like silently like seething.
Yeah.
You also master all the text boxes, so I think you miss things a lot of the time. In that last part we were in, when you had the nail puller, right? Earlier, before you got the nail puller, you looked at the door that said it was nailed shut. And then even when you got the nail puller, you didn't look at it, and I was like, oh my god, how does this happen?
I've had moments like that. Dude, I got a really stupid example, a real life example.
Oh, yeah.
Once someone gifted me for Christmas like $21 bills, and they're crisp, right?
Oh, I
fresh
remember
$1
this,
bills. And then they also gifted me a book called like Dollar Origami. So it just had a full dollars in interesting shapes, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just put the book away, and I just spent the money on something. I spent on like McDonald's or something. And the person told me like, yeah, my dad, he remembered that for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But hey,
amazing.
that's
I
pretty
mean, look,
funny.
I get it, man. My observational skills are very poor at times too.
Oblivious moment.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
it
I'm
comes
guilty
to
of many of those.
But yeah, so it's been great. I'm having a great time. I can't wait to see him play the rest of the game.
Ominous.
Yeah, it's-
Ominously said. Code word, I can't wait to see him suffer.
yeah. Code word. I can't wait to see him cry.
Do you think you could survive in that world?
No, what?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No way.
No chance, bro. I would die so
It'd be over.
fast.
Do you think we'd have?
Honestly, just try and die in a pleasant way.
Let's
Yeah.
say it's just the three of us stuck there. Do you think we'd make it?
No,
No. Nope.
Okay.
Quick answer, no.
no, absolutely
Dang.
not.
What
Bro, I'm
what's
scared of the paranormal to begin with, so
what do you
yeah.
think is like the most important skill in that world?
In that
I'm gonna
world,
be diplomatic.
be diplomatic and maintain your sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not great for helping people keep their sanity.
Yeah, no. I feel like in
But-
that scenario, the two of us would get fed up with each other real fast.
Yeah. We just have to keep on telling jokes, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
that how long until that runs out?
Yeah. That would probably help, though, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it would.
Keeping this funny.
A sense of humor goes a long way, dude.
It
I
really
really
is.
value it. It's like if you're able to laugh at yourself, that's a trait I highly value. I look for. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, they don't take themselves too seriously. They're able to poke fun at themselves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a line though because it's like eventually if you laugh at yourself so much that you just like never take yourself seriously, you always feel like you're just a joke.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn, that's sad.
And it's like, yeah, so like just try not to reach that point. Like understand your strengths. This got deep all of a
of,
sudden.
of course. Yeah, I mean,
Understand that
Nice,
you do
huh?
have actual like legitimate like value. It's good to laugh at yourself, but also don't use that as an excuse to just feel down on yourself all the time.
no, of course. I understand. I think it is a balance. I think part of like you need both. You need levity, but you also need to
Yeah, it's all
take
about
yourself
balance.
seriously.
It's all about balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is about Corpse Party and
Avatar.
JoJo.
It's about corpse party.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you learn like to read Japanese and to like to understand it, what game is like kind of the first thing that you would really use that for?
Oh
Because Malcolm's been
yeah, I've been learning Japanese
Uh,
by the way. I'm only like
Yeah.
a little under 2 months into it now, but
Mhm.
it's a good question. Probably Fire Emblem 4. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Probably
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War because I already played it in
Yeah.
English and I think it's fantastic. I love that game, but
I gotta
it'll be
play
cool
it still.
to experience the original version of it.
Yeah.
The original texts, nothing lost.
That
It's
would be
been
sick.
fun learning Japanese. It's cool. It's very unique language.
Yeah.
In very frustrating ways sometimes.
hmm
If you guys don't know, they have 3 different writing systems, which is ridiculous.
And one's literally just Chinese.
One is literally just the Chinese alphabet that they borrowed, and then the another one is just to write English words,
Yeah.
and then they have the actual Japanese alphabet, and it's like, wow, great, amazing.
I think one kind of content that'd be easy to make is just making what's called like A1 level stories for like English or whatever, you know?
Hmm.
So you just write very simple stories, you upload them on YouTube, you put like little illustrations on them.
Yeah,
Because there's a huge market for those kinds. Just make dumb, simple stories, right?
yeah, yeah,
But you make it pleasant to look at.
yeah.
I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you want that to happen.
Yeah. Let us know. Because that's kind of the challenge with beginner language learning content. It's like, it's just boring and kiddie half the time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which I mean makes sense, but it's
Yeah.
just like
The sooner you can make it interesting, the better.
yeah. Which I think in my case, Japanese is just inherently interesting to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, like already, it's kind of on that. I'm starting to reach that point where I'm like I kind of want to say more interesting things now, but I'm learning like a new word at least like every day, which is good.
Yeah. Actually, the main way I've been getting my exposure, because I'm like trying to learn Russian and French, is I just turn all my video games to different languages.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like we play Overwatch pretty regularly. And when I turn that ish on French, they talk so much in Overwatch, right? And I have the subtitles on. It's actually quite good
Yeah.
as far as blasting your brain with exposure.
It's not as helpful in Japanese because it's a lot. They speak a lot faster in Japanese, and there's no like spacing between words when you write it, so the subtitles aren't all that helpful. But I just got to learn to pick up on like certain key like phrases that repeat, and then I can know like generally what kind of they're talking about, what kind of thing they're doing, saying. But yeah, I know like a few phrases and some things here and there, but I'm still like nowhere, not even close to like any sort of speaking level.
Yeah, it takes a while. Like honestly, it's 3 months of just blasting your brain with vocabulary, pretty much for the start, before you even learn how to put it together.
I think I can like introduce myself and say things that I like, and that's about it.
Yeah, hey, it's a good start.
Yeah.
I've been learning languages too. Yeah, so my brother and I, we visited Paris like a month ago or 2 months ago, something
It was in May, dude.
what was it?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago. And at first, like, I thought the French language is so dumb. And after visiting Paris,
Damn.
I realized,
Sorry,
like,
apologies
wow,
to any French viewers watching this.
Yeah,
Like-
she does it.
I still think it sounds silly, like, but I love it now. I love the French language, and I've been practicing as well ever since returning from Paris. It really, like, that was the main takeaway I got from visiting Paris. Like, oh, I want to learn the French language because I actually find it beautiful. But dumb's a strong word. Forgive me if I'm being too offensive. It sounds
silly.
It's silly. Yeah, it sounds funny to me.
Yeah.
And I think if you're like honest, it's like, yeah, it does sound silly. But
Yeah, especially some phrases. But there are a lot of pretty words in it.
Yeah,
French
I've
is
been
a
I've
pretty
been enjoying.
language.
Yeah, I've been enjoying learning more about it and doing my Duolingo streak and reluctantly playing Overwatch and as a way to practice listening to the language and listening to the sounds, because the voice acting in Overwatch is pretty good. And they talk a lot, so hearing those words and those sounds in real time is beneficial in language learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also helps because we've played the game so much so that we know the context. We know what they're saying, like, most of the time. It's just trying to connect it to the words, right?
Yeah. So you can use like context and like your previous knowledge to like figure out what things mean.
Yeah, it's a really good way.
Yeah.
It's honestly, Overwatch has been a huge part of me learning a lot of French. Here's a pretty silly phrase. So this is how to say beautiful words in French. How do you think you pronounce this one, Malcolm?
Beaumont.
It's Bomo.
Bomo? Are you serious?
Yeah, Bomo.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great?
Bomo.
But it looks so pretty, right?
Yeah, Beaumont. That's what I thought.
But Reizo's been learning Russian.
Yeah, I just started, but Russian's gonna be totally different. Like, to be honest, French is probably the easiest language for English speakers because English is 50% French already. But Russian, like, we're working with a different alphabet, and I don't know. It's gonna be harder, but I kind of like Russian more at this point. But for now, we're still very early on, just learning vocabulary.
Yeah. Japanese is not
that's it.
recommended as a first language to learn if you're an English speaker.
Yeah. You know, I have heard this theory, though, that actually all languages are relatively similar in difficulty. And I find it somewhat compelling, not gonna lie.
What's like the theory?
The idea goes that, like, everybody actually learns their languages at about the same time. And at about the same rate if you took them organically, you know?
That's true.
So maybe for a high level, like languages like Japanese with their kanji, or to get to that really high level and the artistry of it, some languages maybe have a higher ceiling, but just to get to basic writing and speaking proficiency, there's an argument that they're all similar.
I don't know.
Which is
It's-
interesting.
I don't know if I agree with that, because when you learn your language, you're a child and you're already more able to retain stuff. And also it's the first one. So I don't know if I buy that, but it's interesting.
For a while, I was just trying to get the Russian alphabet down, the Cyrillic alphabet. I had it taped on my wall. At one point, like, we went to New York recently. I went to Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, where a lot of ex-Soviet peoples live, like Georgians, Ukrainians, Russians. And I knew. Oh yeah, I actually use Duolingo. Duolingo is good for like starting vocabulary as well. But I just intentionally tried to read every sign, that's written in Russian. And after that day, like after one day of just trying, I'm like, wow, I actually don't need this alphabet taped on my wall anymore. I got it down, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, just exposure is the best way to learn. I took a much more incremental approach to learning Japanese characters because it's 3 alphabets, but I'm only focusing on learning 2. Kanji, you can just sit back and wait for a while because it's so complicated. But for the other 2, I just made index cards and I was just learning like a group of characters at a time. And I'm relatively comfortable with both languages, like both alphabets, like fully now.
Which one? Hiragana and katakana?
Yeah, both of those. Like I know I know all of the characters. I just have to work a little harder to identify them because a lot of them look really similar.
Do you know any kanji yet?
Not by heart, but I know. Do
you recognize any?
You recognize any? No, not really. How has your experience been with learning French, Ranni?
I think it's. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's okay. Like, I guess I need to be more disciplined in it because I've been kind of slacking off. But it's just interesting, because I was only in Paris for about a week, but just being in Paris for a week, I already was so familiar with. I became. What's the word? Like, just more familiar with the language after just being immersed in that culture for a week. Because prior to visiting Paris, I knew literally 0 French, like almost nothing. I knew omelette du fromage and that's it. That was the only French I knew. But after visiting Paris, I'm like, oh, I can pick out certain words already. It's just amazing how your brain can just comprehend. Language that easily just through osmosis. And I just know that if I expose myself daily, I believe that your subconscious brain will do all the work for you. I know you should definitely put in effort and study, but especially with babies, babies don't study. They just speak it based on their environment around them. And I think that's still part of us. Our subconscious brain absorbs these things unknowingly. That's why it's called unconscious. But so just exposure and I just know for myself, even if I practice very little, I'm just gonna still do it. That way I can have that constant exposure and try to retain as much as possible.
It's kind of cool how passive it is, honestly. Because it really does just kind of boil down to exposure and understanding, comprehensible input. There's not too much to say about it, honestly.
Yeah,
language is just interesting because it's like the easiest way is just to expose yourself to the language. Like you can take courses and you can just learn the ins and outs of a language, but the best way to learn is just surround yourself with it. To just expose yourself to more both written and oral, spoken.
Yeah.
So that's just really because that's how, like you said, Ranni, that's how we learned English. Is just because the people around us spoke English, and then we just started mimicking them.
Actually, Ranni and I grew up with people speaking Filipino.
Oh right, yeah, you're right.
I grew up with both. I want to know what I sounded like as a kid still in the Philippines when I just wonder did I always speak English in this way as a kid compared to now? Because I asked my parents did I have a Filipino accent when I spoke English in the Philippines? I don't know.
For the record, Ranni lived in the Philippines for 6 years. He was little.
Yeah, people say, oh, you were 6, you forgot everything. I'm like, nah, dude, I remember stuff. 6 years is a decent chunk of time, man.
Yeah, you can remember I think it differs by person, but I feel like roughly you can start remembering stuff more clearly at around age 4, probably.
Yeah. I have a pretty strong memory.
Ranni has really good memory.
Personal memory. I can't remember test answers, but I can remember trauma. No, I'm joking. It's kind of it's no, I remember. I have strong personal memories, personal experiences. I retain pretty well. But yeah, so I just wonder how I spoke English back then. Because if I remember, like moving to New Jersey, I don't think anyone told me like, you have an accent, you speak weird. Like that's never occurred to me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That
So
is
maybe I
weird.
spoke like in an American accent when I spoke English. I don't know.
Yeah. And what you were saying, like personal memory. I mean, that's why I try to avoid like a super academic approach to learning languages. You know, you want to learn stuff like associate it with meaning, right? And from multiple different angles. If it's just like on a book or like a flashcard or something, it's not going to stick in your brain,
Yeah.
right?
That's why I try to read any Japanese that I see. And for a while there, I was just going through this book that you gave me and just like covering up the romaji and just like trying to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Malcolm has like a phrase book right now.
Yeah, Reizo gave me like a traveler's guide for Japan, like easy Japanese, and it's cool. It's been very helpful.
It's cool that you honestly don't need to know too much of a language to get around when you travel.
No, yeah, you don't. You just need some basics.
Kore.
Like
Kore.
hello, please.
Yeah.
Kore desu ka? Like what is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Sumimasen.
Oh yeah,
Sumimasen.
Reizo and I was also we were also in Tokyo not too long ago.
Yeah, you guys are world travelers, and I'm definitely not jealous of you.
Jealous.
Yeah,
That's the real question. Why don't we just move to Japan for like 3 months or something?
I don't know.
it depends on job situation.
Also, yeah, I have a job here.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you have enough money
I mean, if
saved
it's only
up,
for 3 months, then I could just be like, I'm gonna leave for 3 months, and then
yeah, no,
It's not a bad idea.
yeah,
I'm gonna be completely straight.
it's not
Yeah.
It's
the
a
worst
good
idea.
idea.
Yeah,
For you-
but I have obligations here too. Like I have a group channel that I'm doing with some of my friends that we like have to like be together for.
Yeah.
So if we did do that, I would just need to like work it out with them and be like, hey, we need to record a bunch of stuff so that we have stuff in bulk to upload. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. By the way, I have a group channel I started called Randomized Studios. Go look at that and subscribe because it's good.
Yeah, I
We're
still
funny.
gotta watch that new video.
We're funny guys. Yeah, we have 2 main videos up right now. We have our revival video, which is like a short film, I guess.
I killed the Reno Pope. The nursery reached its expiration date. You fucking idiots.
And then we have our first Let's Play gameplay video of Dokapon Kingdom, which is hilarious.
Yeah, longsword is usually 15 to 30 centimeters, so about a foot.
Shut up, Darren. Shut up. Oh my god. What?
What?
Dokupon's crazy.
Yeah, I love Dokapon Kingdom because I win all the time.
oh yeah,
Evil.
so
I've never lost.
like the reason why Reizo mentioned the Japan plan is because like currently Japan's economy is really tanking, which is bad for them but good for tourists, I guess.
Is it really tanking though?
I mean, let's just say the currency is at an all-time low.
Yeah, their currency's deflated, but
Yeah.
their economy's not really tanking.
Okay,
Their economy is it's more functional than ours.
Okay,
frankly.
okay, so that's a more appropriate way of putting it then. Basically, it's
Yeah.
way more affordable to move to
Yeah,
Japan
it's
now.
cheap. That's the
Yeah.
short answer.
That's the right
That's the correct way of putting
exact
it.
thing, yeah.
Economy not tanking. It's just
Yeah.
everything's cheap for
But it's just
Americans.
like, yeah, I feel like it wouldn't. I don't. It wouldn't really save me much money. I mean, I guess it would, just because food's cheaper. But
Oh yeah.
um,
That
Yeah.
$1 dinner.
yeah.
That $1 dinner, bro.
Yeah,
Dollar man.
I will say like Tokyo, it does for me. I'm a tourist. I'm a total tourist there. Like it did feel like you were in the future. I was just in awe by everything when I first entered Tokyo. I was like, wow,
Yeah, it's
everything's
freaking
so
awesome.
clean. Everything's optimized for people. The food's good and it's all affordable. Like the clothes, the food, the
Plus,
the sites.
Plus, it would be really helpful for me, learning Japanese, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
100%, yeah.
the show.
I didn't know any Japanese when I went there, and I figured it out. Like Google Translate was my best friend.
I was actually surprised how much I knew just from anime.
Yeah,
To be
anime.
honest.
People, people joke about it. Like you can't use that to learn Japanese. Like I don't know, man. There's some
No, you learn a lot.
some pretty key phrases
You don't want to get
there.
your intonation from like "kusama shine."
You don't. Yeah, you don't need to speak like that, but you can learn phrases.
You can learn a lot.
Yeah.
frankly.
I will
Yeah.
say that like the thing with anime is, as a caveat, like the best way to learn it is actually, I hear, not to have English subtitles.
Oh yeah.
You should just listen to it because there's a lot of, I mean, we all know, like at this point, everyone watches anime, but very few people actually know Japanese or understand it to a point where they're conversational in it or they can navigate different places with it. So like, the best way is actually just listening is so important in communication. Isn't that crazy? Like,
No way.
That's
yeah.
crazy. Insane.
yeah, listening, and you don't even have to know the definitions of all the words they're saying. Like, you just have to kind of get used to the sounds.
Which I
Yeah,
think
there's
I
a lot
am
to it.
more now because I'm actually trying to like learn it.
Also, Japanese is cool because it's another phonetic language. You know, where the
Letters
sounds are
sound-
pretty clear.
Yeah, sounds are clear, and letters always sound like what they are
Are
defined
written as.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. French is the worst one. It's the worst one as far as the written language and the spoken language. You're pretty much learning two. I hate it.
Yeah, if you like write in Japanese watashi, it sounds like watashi.
Watashi, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
There are a few, very few, like, I don't know, pronunciation things that happen, but you get them pretty quickly, like daisuki, you know.
Daisuke, yeah, like when you have like suki, it's like ski.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
u is like almost silent. It's like soft.
Yeah. Apostrophe, bro.
Yeah, there's quirks to Japanese, but it's not nearly as bad as like English or French, I'm sure.
With English, there's not much logic behind it.
No.
As far as a lot of these weird pronunciation quirks, the only way you can know it is if you've heard the word. You
If
know,
you speak it, yeah. Like to
Yeah.
foreigners, if you see the word spelled like with the same orders of letters, then you're like, oh, those are pronounced the same. But it's like no,
like trough and cough or tough.
trough, cough,
know.
tough, bow,
Awful.
Dough.
dough.
You mean
Gosh,
doff?
what?
Dough.
Doff. Man, imagine trying to learn English from scratch. Russian is also phonetic like that, which is nice. There's a lot of things I really like about Russian, but I just can't wait to start learning those cases, and I'm gonna be like, wow, I don't like this.
That's like where I hate.
But I will say, what's up?
I
Go
hate
ahead,
languages
go ahead.
that are like, yeah, depending on the point of view and the gender and the amount of objects you're referring to, that changes how you say every word, and it's like, wow, amazing.
I find it really annoying, like languages that use genders. To be
Yes,
honest,
I
just
agree.
because, like, as an English person,
Like, we don't have that.
yeah, I don't know.
Japanese
It
doesn't
just
have
makes
that either,
everything
which is
more
great.
complicated. Yeah, which is dope. But I
Yeah.
will say, as far as speaking languages, I think Russian has gotten me. The Russian people have been the nicest when I've tried to speak their language. Not gonna lie, it's just been my experience.
Yeah,
The happiest about it.
that's cool. I've never
Yeah.
tried speaking Japanese to a Japanese person, so
They're pretty nice. Pretty
Yeah.
nice about it.
yeah, that's cool.
When we were talking about Japan, Rainey told me about like the JET program,
Oh yeah, the
which
jet
seems pretty
program.
interesting.
Oh, right, the one
Yeah.
where you go there and teach English. Yeah,
Speaking of exposure, like that's a big example. They don't even want you to speak Japanese. They just want you to speak English so they have a proper picture of it.
yeah.
So
It's,
for the people listening who don't know what the JETS program is, a broad overview of it is that the Japanese government will sponsor you to teach English in schools across Japan. And basically, so many of your living expenses are subsidized by them. So your lodging, transportation, I think even food. I think it really depends on what school you end up working at. But people say it's a great way to, you know, like because I'm looking for a job, hence the name Jobcast at this point. But I spoke with one woman in New York who did the program and she loved it, and she said, yeah, if you don't know what to do with your life, just like go for it, do it. I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of sounds like me. So she said, yeah, like all that stuff taken care of. The cost of living is so much lower compared to America. And if you love Japanese culture, it's a great way to immerse yourself in that life.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If I didn't have other plans, I would consider it.
Yeah. If I didn't have obligations here, I would probably do it.
I think for this year, applications are closed. But if you're interested in teaching English in Japan and being immersed in Japanese culture, it's a cool opportunity.
Mm-hmm. It's something I would consider if I was trying to move there. Because also, it's kind of hard being there for longer than 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh
it's,
yeah, like so the thing is, it's like a contractual thing. So I think you sign a contract for a year, and if you can renew it at the end of every year, and I think you can work up to 4 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think only recently Japan has started to accept the digital nomad visa too, which is basically saying that you work remotely. You know, because I mean, those kinds of jobs just weren't taken seriously before.
But now that the internet is
Not just in Japan, but in general.
yeah, like the internet is just a part of modernity. It's kind of difficult to imagine now not working a remote job, especially if you're a white collar role. It's just the new
It's hard
norm.
to imagine working a job these days. Let's be honest.
That's true, dog. Yeah.
I've kind of like softly stopped applying for jobs, which sucks. I really should apply for more, but I'm
It's just
happier.
hard,
I'm
man. Yeah, it's
happier that
hard.
I'm not.
Yeah, because you can get tunnel vision. I've been speaking with friends about signing up, or because I'm trying to return back to the workforce. I still want to do my YouTube channel. My dream is to still be like, I want to work for myself and make a living for myself, but that's difficult. It's there's a difference between like being a artist, being a creative, and making a living as an artist and a creative. Both take different skill sets, and finding a job is in itself a job, and you need to hone these skills to market yourself, to find work, and it's really
stupid.
difficult. Yeah, I have a friend, and he told me like
that's a mood system.
like it's just like it's just so tough these days. It's interesting because in a way there's so much more opportunity with technology, but at the same time it seems like you're knocking on doors that just are empty. Like there's no opportunity at all because it's just oversaturated, and there's so many, I don't know, like just strange like legalities and bureaucracies that you have to go through. That
And the fact that it's so digital means that there's way more like scammers now.
Yeah, and like you're just throwing yourself into the ether, like you're just throwing like a paper airplane that's your resume into this void that's gonna lead to nowhere. It's like because it's like
it's bad.
Yeah, it's often like they don't. It's not even a person reading your stuff. It's like an algorithm.
They put it through an algorithm, a filter.
Rough,
I hate this. I hate this like whole performance that you have to do just
Monkey
to be
dance.
even considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also hate LinkedIn, by the way, even though I'm on LinkedIn.
Because I mean, it's just like it's either LinkedIn or Indeed. Pick your poison.
Yeah, but because it's just LinkedIn is so superficial to me. So much of it, so much of the content, it's like it just feels so fake. Like, oh, choose kindness. I'm like, okay, let me find a way to profit off kindness. Let me put it in my like marketing board or whatever. Like, yeah, it's like
none of this stuff matters. All that should matter is whether or not I can do the job.
Yeah, but I hear from a friend that with finding a job, it's less about what you know and versus who you know. It's all about networking.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah, so nepotism. But, it's, I don't know. That's why I really urge people to do their own thing,
Yeah,
especially
don't get stuck in tunnel vision just looking for a job for a soulless corporation. Make art because you never know when it might pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, just to enrich yourself. I just realized.
Yeah, also just to make yourself happy.
Yeah, because I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast where I thought like, oh, I could just work a normal job and put this YouTube thing to the side. That was a phase of my life, but I grew more miserable because of that. And now I realized like, oh, I think I'm really meant to like be creative. Like that's just who I am as a person, and trying to stifle this creative voice is not good.
I understand what you mean now about like feeling like you were meant to be creative, because now that I've actually put in the time to make that Sonic video, like I get it now. I'm like, I feel this is something that I felt comfortable doing. Sonic Superstars decides to take this formula and chuck it out the fucking window.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the end, when it came to writing and stuff, I was like, but when I got to like the editing process, I was like, yes, this is my jam. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is where
Bro
I'm
was
at.
flying with those edits.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
it's
look
crazy.
for video editing jobs that could be.
Yeah, but those are tricky because like
They pay you poorly
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
it's very easy to get
stressful turnaround.
yeah, it's very easy to get gypped. And
Yeah.
scammed.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, yeah,
That's
so
why you should
that's-
just
I don't
make
know
your
if I
own
wanna do
thing.
that. But
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the success of my latest video. It was really encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to glaze up my boy, but that's one of the best
That was a weird
like video
way
essays
to
I've seen
say it.
about
Damn.
the game in a while.
Jeez,
in
thanks.
a while.
Thanks, man.
There's a lot of mediocrity out there.
No, that was
dude.
that was a really good video. It was edited really well.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Thank you. Yeah, I was very happy with the editing of that video. Editing is, without a doubt, my strongest aspect as a creator, I think. Well, yeah, I'm very happy about that. And there's more content on the way, like this video that you're watching right now. So,
oh my gosh.
So get ready for that. I
Yeah.
probably won't make another like big video essay like that for a while. Like I don't think another one will come out until next year. But, but one of my goals for this year was to make and release one, so I did that. So
Hey, nice.
So anyway, I didn't want to gas myself up there for too long, but
No, bro. It's just facts.
This is the Jobcast after all.
yeah. I would love to be able to do this full time someday, but
It's hard, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
think
difficult.
you were saying that we should encourage people to be creative, and you're right, but also don't lean on it as your 100%.
Also get a job.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Because it's very unlikely that you will be able to make a living off of it.
Invest everything in this new Bitcoin that we're making.
Yeah, don't do that. don't buy
It will
crypto.
definitely not tank.
Yeah, don't buy crypto. It's a scam. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's basically a giant pyramid scheme. Don't worry.
Unless you can
It will
travel,
definitely pay
unless
off.
you can travel back in time and buy Bitcoin.
Dogecoin or whatever.
Yeah, if you bought
Dogecoin, man, I
Bitcoin
remember
like in
Dogecoin.
2011, you'd be a billionaire at this point or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can talk about the jobs I had in college,
Okay.
which were
What do you
they aren't that interesting, but there's something. They're funny.
This is the
They-
Jobcast.
This is the
Yeah.
Jobcast, so we'll keep it job related a little bit for a very brief moment. So in college, I couldn't, because if you don't know, I currently work as a janitor at a grocery store. Very intellectually fulfilling stuff. So while I was in school, I went to a college like 3 hours away, so I couldn't keep my job as a janitor there. So
I just imagined it. Just pulling up for it. It's like, no, I have to do this.
I have to do this. No. Anyway, I got 2 jobs while I was in college. The first one was I worked as like a clerk at the School of Communication for checking out like cameras and like audio equipment for students to use for like projects and stuff. Which was, even at that point when I got the job, it was like a basically obsolete business because everybody has smartphones. So it's not really necessary. So we had very little business, which means I spent most of my time doing nothing. Which
Amazing.
was a great job for me.
I forget, did you have like a Switch or your 3DS with you?
Yeah,
or
I took my
something?
Switch with me all the time, and I just played that while nothing was going on. What's crazy is that they hired 3 people to work at a time, which is ridiculous. We're in an empty office where there's no business, and they had 3 people working at once. Like, what? That was so unnecessary. But
That's rough.
but it was fine by me because it meant that if someone did show up, I didn't have to talk to them.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. You got paid to just sit there.
I got paid to sit there and occasionally go look for a camera.
We love bureaucracy.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed that job quite a lot. But then the school year ended, and then the next year it was gone. So I lost that. It was a shame. So instead, I got a job working tech support at the tutoring center, which was fine. It was definitely more active just because it's a more active location. There's more people there, especially near exam time. And I didn't tutor at all. I was just tech support. So if there was like a problem with like laptops or something, then I had to be the one to help fix it. But in the meantime, I was just standing by, again, not doing anything.
Kind of swag.
Yeah.
I kind of F with the vision.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't a hard job because the problems didn't happen that often. And when they did, they were pretty easy fixes. Because
did you try turning it off?
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that solved the problem like a whole bunch of times.
Amazing.
So that was that. And yeah, those are the jobs. That job I had to stop because the world ended.
Oh yeah, COVID.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate.
The C word.
Funny story. When I came back from college, when the pandemic started, I had actually been removed from my grocery store systems because apparently they had tried to reach out to me because they had new management, right? So they were going through everybody, trying to figure out who was who, and I guess they saw me there and saw that I wasn't around, so they tried to get in contact with me, but they didn't leave me any messages or anything. And
That's not good.
And I don't answer calls from numbers I don't recognize, so they just removed me. They just took me out of the system. And so when I got there and talked to them about it, they were like, "Oh, we removed you." So I got fired basically.
Dude.
But luckily the manager helped me out, and she was like, "Yeah, we'll get in contact with HR, and you'll be put back in."
He came back like Aragorn, Return of the King.
Yeah, they
took his rightful place on that porcelain throne.
Yep, it was marked as wrongful termination, so I was reinstated. It was very, very good.
Honorably returned to your station.
Yes, sir.
It's beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing.
The hero's journey.
Yeah, the mentor figure, the descent into the underworld. This is the bathroom.
Do you guys have any job stories you wanted to talk about?
I feel like if I were to get into mine, it'd be a whole can of worms.
Yeah, same.
Maybe I should save it for later. The pizza world, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I had a pretty funny job when I was just like a middle schooler and a high schooler. The more I think about it, it was so, what's the word? The word I want to use is ratchet, but I don't want to use that word.
Okay.
I just used it though. Sketchy. Well, not sketchy though, because it wasn't dangerous. It's just
funny.
Funny, yeah. We'll use the word funny.
Yeah, wow, that's so descriptive.
Yeah. Thank you. Good work, guys.
We've all written scripts before.
Yeah, but Ranni and I worked as camp counselors.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Summer camp.
Yeah.
And this was just pretty much a camp for... It was an expensive camp, actually.
Yeah.
Funnily enough. It was attached to a school. And
it's defunct now, by the way.
Yeah.
Rip.
This was where rich parents would drop off their kids, like when school was over, you know? So much about that camp was so unprofessional, frankly. Yeah. It's really funny. We would work a whole summer for one check of like $300.
Wow.
And that was it.
That's crazy. $300 spread out across what, like 3 months?
For 1 month.
For 1 month. Okay, that's pretty good, actually.
You think so?
I mean...
It was like 5 days a week.
Yeah, okay, maybe not then. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I just realized I get paid more
I think
than
it's
that
below minimum wage if you...
Yeah,
round
definitely.
It was in the blazing heat, dude.
Yeah, it was
sucks.
bad.
It's pretty much asking a bunch of kids, like these counselors, like me, like asking them to do a favor for a whole month. You know
That's
what
crazy.
I'm saying?
Yeah, and they only pay us,
it.
so they don't get like sued or whatever.
That's
It's
crazy.
nepotism too. It's awesome. Ow. But just thinking about it, so many things about it were so unprofessional. We used to serve lemonade.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
To the kids, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Country Time Southern Lemonade or something. I think that's the brand. So it comes in a powder, right? And we would make it in these coolers.
Like those big plastic coolers in football games, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And just think, we had such small premises. So where they would make it is they would make it like in the room with the ice, like the ice machine.
Okay.
Or sometimes in the locker room.
Okay.
It's awful. But yeah, you'd have the water, you'd have the ice, and then they... the way they'd make it is they dump the powder in, and they would use just this broken piece of plastic that like fell off of the front of a machine or something. And they would stir it around, right? I mean, you just have to stir it, so
Yeah.
it's just a piece of plastic, bro.
Or your hand. Your arm.
Yeah, so one day they lost it and they used their hand to stir it. And then gave it to the kids. I'm also just thinking like, oh man. So Randy and I worked with like 2 different age groups. Randy worked with the older kids, which is like ages 7 to 12. I worked with kids that were age 4 to 7, so they're really young ones, and it's funny because it's a sports camp, so you can't really do any real sports, right? The most we can do is just, I don't know, put 2 tiny soccer goals on like a really small field, and just make them run around. And then while they run around playing soccer, we pelt them with water balloons. And the kids find it fun, which is great. They're just screaming.
And what's funny?
Oh,
What's funny is like, I think Reizo said it before, where when they'd make the lemonade, the kids would say, "This is the best lemonade ever."
Oh yeah. And we would always lie like, "Oh, this is from fresh lemons. Don't worry about it." And like at the end of every day, we give these plastic medals, right? And every kid is supposed to get a medal by the end of the week, right?
Okay.
And we would just lie saying like we found it from a pirate ship,
Oh.
It's real cool. Just awesome. Yeah, with the kids, with the really little kids, it's not really real sports, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much just daycare.
Yeah.
We're just keeping them entertained. It's just so funny. And then to keep things fair, if there was a kid that was really good at soccer, we'd have to get in his way so he doesn't completely dominate the other team, So we'd like steal the ball from him at times. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did kickball and stuff. It was awesome. But what they told us was you cannot do duck, duck, goose. Duck, duck, goose is too juvenile.
What?
They said we will not be a duck, duck, goose camp.
What?
Oh
That's
wow,
stupid.
I didn't know that.
These are literally. these are
it
4 to
wasn't hard for
7-year-olds.
this
These are too
Yeah, it's just
juvenile.
funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, and like so sometimes like a game we just do. It's so stupid because there's like this clear. I don't know. If you were a younger counselor, they would make you do all the running around and stuff, right? While the older guys just chill in the shade, right? So like sometimes we'd have a game where it's like, here, chase him, chase that counselor, and then you'd have to run around the soccer field with like 20 to 30 kids just running after him.
That's insane.
It's so stupid. There's no game behind it.
It's just chase this
after
guy.
him. Yeah. But we'll save more stories for later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can.
Yeah. I could talk about my DC trip.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I took my family, my family took some of my extended family. We took them to DC and New York. And when we went to DC, we took a train, Amtrak. Rainey, I'm curious what you thought about that train trip, by the way. Your thoughts on Amtrak?
Oh, I really like it. I'm
Yeah,
like, this
it was
is what
pleasant, not gonna lie.
America's about. We need trains, darn it. So we went to the it's fine if I mention it. We went to the High Point train station, and it's in North Carolina. And we went from there to DC. We didn't take the train to New York. We took a bus, but it was like a 6-7 hour train ride, and I really like the train station in High Point. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's like it's very, I guess the word is vintage. It reminds me of like the old, I guess it's like from the 50s or 60s even, that type of interior
look it up.
design. America used to be a country connected by trains, but due to the automobile lobbyist, it's gone. But
Very
it made
sad.
me so proud to be an American riding those trains. It's like, wow, like we can really build something here. And it seems like, I hope that the future is bright for passenger train travel, especially for the state of North Carolina. There's been a constant uptick of people opting for train travel as opposed to driving or the plane. So North Carolina is among, compared to the other states in America, they've invested more heavily into train travel, which I'm really happy about. So that's all just a long, convoluted way of saying I really like the train travel. I got to go to the dining car. It was pretty cool, just sitting there and enjoying the
I really
ride.
like the dining car, the big windows,
Yeah,
seeing everything pass. It's really nice.
and I don't like having to go through airport security and all that. And I don't like having.
It's much more pleasant.
Yeah, I don't want to drive all the time. Like I don't like
Yeah.
driving as much as possible. I don't like driving. I drive out of necessity, but if I had the choice to not drive, I don't really like driving. So
Agreed.
especially like driving from North Carolina to DC, it's like a 6-hour trip, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just
Plus,
nice.
driving in DC it would be a nightmare.
Yeah. So it's nice to just like lay back, chill, have a drink, have a snack, watch your movie, read a book, take a nap, and that's what we did. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
That was bars.
You know, apparently there's a regional train just for North Carolina. It's called the Piedmont train.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a
Yeah.
video, like a thumbnail of it. Also, this train station in High Point was built in 1907.
Damn.
So it's quite old. It's Malcolm. It's one of the most beautiful train stations I've ever seen.
Really?
They preserve the wood really nicely. It's really, really pretty. I don't know what else to say about it. They have a bathroom that's so nice. You have to ask the attendant for like a key to the bathroom, and
Whoa.
it's
Oh wow, this is
like
really
old
nice.
1900s style.
Yeah.
Wow. This,
Yeah, but I'll send a photo of the High Point station. Look at this. It's pretty.
Damn. What the hell? It's like
Yeah.
straight
Yeah,
out of the
it's beautiful.
1900s. What the hell?
And it's very small too. It's very cozy.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
There's not too many people that hop on it
Dude,
from
there's
there.
also like
but
old
it's
phones there on
nice.
the wall.
Yeah,
Are they?
yeah, I think so, but I don't know
That's
if
cool.
they're active or not.
They're not really working.
That's cool.
but-
I mean, it's just cool that they're there. It's cool
Mhm.
aesthetic.
And then let me show you where the actual train passes through because it's elevated, or rather, they dug into the ground to make where the train goes through. Which is
Gosh,
cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely train station.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, we took this train. It's a bit of a ways, but it was pretty early, so I just slept through most of it. And my mom was like nagging at me, like, "Oh, you gotta stretch, right?"
Oh,
that
yeah, I know this
just to keep
story.
your legs limber or whatever. So I went to the bathroom, and when I went out, I didn't even use the bathroom. My memory, it's great. But I got up and I walked around a little. And normally when I'm on a plane, when I'm on those really annoying flights across the ocean, you know, where you're stuck there for like 12, 15 hours, you people who have traveled, like, you know what I'm talking about, it sucks. I'm normally wearing sweatpants. And so what I'll do to really, you know, get my legs feeling all right again is I'll do some squats really quick, right? Just to like stretch them a little.
Oh.
But this time I was wearing cargo shorts, and they were sagging a little. So I guess the distribution of force and stretch wasn't right. So I did a quick squat and like SpongeBob, it ripped. Threads went flying behind me, and I heard it. And the first thing I said was, "Did that just happen? Did that really happen?" You know. And then he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then I turned around, and there's a giant hole in my pants. I wonder if we can send a picture of it, because I'll send one to you later.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
of the shorts,
Yeah.
it's sad. So then I just sat down, and it was devastating, because that was my favorite pair of shorts, bro. My favorite pair of cargos. And I have like a hoodie with me, so I just tied it around my waist. And like when we got to DC, I brought one pair of shorts and one pair of black jeans, right? So I took out the black jeans, but for some reason the button was missing. I'm like, why is this even gone? There's not even a hole. Like the fabric's together, but the button's just gone. I'm so confused.
Oh, so it wasn't open?
So here's a photo of Ranni and me at the Lincoln Monument.
The goat.
The goat with a rose in front of him. The rose in front of Lincoln.
I didn't know that was a
But
rose.
if you see me here, I'm squatting and I have a hoodie tied around my waist. And little do these people know that like it's just blown open.
Yeah.
It's just blown open on the back. It was a terribly, terribly hot day, but a beautiful day.
It was beautiful,
in
yeah.
DC, showing the fam around the monuments. I went to get boba tea at one food truck near the Washington
Oh,
Monument.
yeah. I remember this.
I went to get the boba tea, and I was asking this guy what flavors he likes, you know, and he was just making my drinks. And I gave him my credit card as he handed me one drink. He was holding the other one. I gave him my credit card so he could scan and do the payment or whatever. And then a cop walked across the street, and the engine just revved. And the guy looked at me, and then he said to the driver, like, yo, stop, I gotta give the guy stuff. But then the cop starts walking faster, and they drive off, still holding my drink. And he just looks at me, he shrugs his shoulders, smiles, and then he just drops the credit card. So at least he didn't take it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
that's
I was just
considerate.
left with one shake, and I'm like, this is very strange. So I got my card, and I had my free drink, and I was drinking it. My mom was really bothered by that.
Yeah.
It was a strange occurrence.
Yeah, that's very bizarre.
Yeah. At least it didn't charge me anything.
Yeah.
So I got a free drink. Long story short, and the guy drove off.
That's crazy.
Yeah, very strange day.
Very bizarre.
Mm-hmm. That was my bizarre adventure.
Yeah, that's Reizo's bizarre adventure in DC.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, just bouncing around ideas for the podcast. It'd be funny if we had a topic we were really passionate about, like we make a PowerPoint or something.
That's a great idea.
And show it to each other.
That's a good idea.
So we're trying to find the balance, guys, like with this podcast of how much is going to be planned versus just free flowing, and then also finding a balance of how much we're talking to each other versus keeping the audience in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking maybe if we're talking about a subject, like, I don't know, just as an example, like pretty much one person preps a story or their own perspective on something, you know, like a story that they're going to tell, like about a job or whatever, or just their perspective on something. Like, for example, like if we're talking about JoJo again, Ranni just has already prepared like what he likes about Kira, you know.
Yeah.
And then he just breaks it down in front of us, and then it's like kind of we're reacting to each other, you know. Just some parts that are more planned, I guess.
Yeah, because for this episode, this was very unplanned. This was very much a
Conversation.
Just talk about whatever.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. Just talk about whatever we think about in the moment.
Yeah.
And there's not much of a structure to it. And then I guess next episode we'll do like a more structured thing when it comes to like planning. We're just experimenting, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the PowerPoint thing, just because I don't know. I'm not really.
That's true.
I'm not sure how big I am on just like the concept of giving a PowerPoint presentation, because I don't want to make this podcast like just us. I don't want to turn it into like a school thing, you know, where we're just presenting something to people, you know.
I mean, it would be so you could add memes to it and make it funny, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I want to do that though for this podcast. I prefer to keep, you know, not to assert my dominance over this podcast or anything, but I think it's better to keep podcasts relatively more chill and like less heavy on the editing.
Yeah.
Because
when we edited the previous one pretty heavy.
No, yeah, I mean like not like I mean just like adding like sound effects and memes and stuff, not like cutting down stuff and trimming fat and like adding assisting visuals that's fine, but when it comes to I don't want to delve into zoomer editing, basically is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know Malcolm doesn't like zoomer editing.
I hate zoomer editing so much. It's so aggravating.
What do you have that's like a quintessential example
of zoomer editing? Gosh, I don't know. I click off of them so fast.
Was it like YouTube Shorts or something?
Shorts are pretty bad with it, yeah. Where it's like every word has like an associated sound effect or something to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's just swoosh noises. Today!
Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be... This is just Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast is pretty bad with it, to be honest.
I think the last time we thought like, oh, this podcast is too... It felt like a Q&A session rather than a conversation. Well, I feel like so far this one's just like just chill. I barely prepped. I'm like, okay, these are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it.
I didn't look at the topic list until like a half hour before we started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of better that way a little.
Yeah, I kind of like this more like spur of the moment, like off the cuff kind of thing. Pretty good. I mean, I think it was good for the first episode to have more of a plan.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, I liked the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode's good. I like it a lot. I guess if there's something to like leave you guys with, it's just like tell us how do you like podcasts to be, and what do you think works better? Like, you know, leave us an opinion about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
in the end we're gonna do what we want anyway, but it would be good to know what the audience thinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like have more, I guess, listener input. Give us suggestions and give us questions about what topics you want us to discuss.
Yeah, feel free to suggest stuff to talk about too, so that we can we just have more to talk about. We'll probably implement some kind of like Q&A system at some point.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just gonna.
For now, we're just talking. So.
Yeah, we're just chilling, talking,
experimenting with stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching the second episode of the Jobcast, everybody. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna make more of these. Sorry this one took quite a while to get out, but I would like to upload these more frequently than every 5 months, but we'll see.
Yeah.
As far as my channel goes, I have one more big video planned for this year, and then I'll have like another big video essay starting that I'll work on, hopefully get out like early next year probably. And then I have one pretty big project that I'm currently in the middle of working on that I want to at least start by the end of this year, hopefully. With that in mind, that's where I'm at with my channel. You guys want to plug yourselves again like we did at the end of the last video?
I don't have too much to say. Just my YouTube channel, Jigelmeister, my webcomic socials. Working on another chapter and another episode of the comic dub. This comic dub episode that I'm working on is needing a lot more work to get it to the place that I want it. So the projects that I'm working on right now, they're gonna need a little more time. But that's it for me.
And for me, you know me, I think. I'm Ranni. That's my channel name on YouTube. I haven't posted a video in a while. I've just been kind of in a creative rut. And I've just been busy recently. I've been traveling a lot.
Somebody's been experiencing real life.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, so, still planning on making video essays. I have a big video essay that's been percolating in my mind for a while, and I just need to fix that. I got another podcast coming up. I'm sorry, guys. No, that's gonna be coming out soon. Be on the lookout for that.
Bro is a traitor. He's abandoning us, guys.
But
can't believe this.
Yeah, so
he's about to become a two-man show.
I dual podcast. I'm in both the same. I'm in like in alternate dimensions. I'm the link.
He has two microphones and he just faces one or the other.
Faces constant reverb.
He has like two like push to talk buttons and he just keeps switching between them.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm talking to Malcolm and Reizo right now. What were we saying? So, anyways, you should support me on Patreon. And
oh yeah. I'll put your Patreon.
Yeah, I have a Patreon out. I have YouTube memberships out. Malcolm helped with the badges.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode.
And I got members in my YouTube membership. It's crazy. So I know I haven't uploaded content. It's just I've been kind of in a rut and I've been busy. But I assure you guys, content is in the way. I want to deliver good stuff for you all who are subscribers, who are followers. I thank you so much for the support.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for listening to this podcast. It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Stretch goal for this year, since we already reached my 100 subscriber goal, 200 subscribers. Make it happen, or
make it happen, guys. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
And with that, I guess we'll end it there. So, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.